Beautiful. Welcome back, everyone, to the Dental Startup Journey. I'm your host, Maritza Duran, and today we are talking about something that every practice depends on, but almost no one thinks about it until it breaks. And I am an a testament of that, your phone system. Because here's the truth, our phones are our front door. If calls are missed, dropped, or poorly handled by our teams, we're not just losing communication, we are losing patience and revenue. So today, I am joined by Richard May from Mango Voice, which is a company that is redefining how dental practices communicate through a cloud based, AI powered phone system designed to improve patient experience and streamline operations. So, if you're wondering whether your current phone system is holding your practice back or how AI is changing the way practices handles phone calls, this episode is a must listen for you. So, Richard, welcome. And let's start simple. What is Mango Voice and what is the problem that you are solving for dental practices today?
Well, hi, Maritza. It's good to be on your episode. Thank you. And we go way back, right? We've worked together on different offices and projects and been at different trade shows together. And this is a constant thing, right? Having good, reliable phone systems in your practice is a must. And with the way that the world is shaped now, if you're not utilizing AI, you're probably missing out. I'm not going to say that you need AI to run your practice, but I think there are some really cool enhancements out there that are taking place. And Mango is unique to dentistry because you have all kinds of AI companies like Claude and ChatGPT and Gemini that are doing some really cool things for you, but they're not catered specifically to dentistry, right? And so you have to have phones in your practice. You got to be able to make calls, receive calls, and so you need good, reliable phone systems. And what is AI doing for your phone system? That is what Mango is solving, is how AI is enhancing the patient experience on the phones. So first and foremost, Mango, super reliable. You'll never have downtime with Mango. You'll always have good uptime, good customer service, all the features you'd expect your phones to have. We have, with great reporting, great analytics. If you want to set up unique call trees, if you have remote workers, if you have people overseas, if you have people answering calls from home, if you need a mobile app, we can do all of that and then some. But more importantly, everyone is trying to figure out what is happening on these phone conversations. There's no way a dentist or a practice owner has time to analyze 100 calls a day and figure out how well did we do? Did we capture new revenue? Did we make notes on those conversations? Did we miss calls? So where we are solving this problem is we're taking those conversations, using our AI to analyze these calls, give you real feedback on what's happening, log those notes automatically for you, which is huge because everyone's trained to take notes on calls. And we have an AI receptionist that will make sure you never miss calls again. And we ask dental practices all the time, do you know your answer rate versus your missed call rate? And it hasn't changed since I've been at Mango. I've been here for over 5 years. People are still missing around 35 to 40% of their calls. That's just revenue out the door. So how do you solve that? It's either hire more people, create better systems, or plug in AI. And that's where we finally said, okay, we're going to solve this missed call problem, and then also understand what's happening on those calls. So there's a lot to unpack there, but
I know, and I want to keep it where it's real to some cases. Like for instance, I was at a client's office yesterday, startup practice. You know that I help dentists who are first time practice owners, and one of the questions that came about was, do I need to hire additional staff members? We're only open Monday, Tuesdays, and certain days of the week. How do I cover for those days and those times that I am not within the practice, like actively seeing patients, right? And some of the questions that came about was, one, are we keeping track? Like, are you able to look into the analytics from Mango, your system, to be able to determine, let's look into that. So now that was homework that was assigned to my client to take over and do. I typically, for the most part, analyze and review some of the phone calls and some of the recordings for like the training purposes. Once we hired and onboard the team for basically for like training purposes and to give them feedback on how they are communicating and connecting with patients. So it's a very powerful tool for me as a consultant as well. But I want you to touch a little bit more on that component that you just shared about missing phone calls when the office is not actually open, and running some of these analytics. So what are some of the things that the doctors can, after watching this episode, can go back to their where to find it in Mango and how to analyze the information and some of those benchmarks one more time?
Yeah, no, this is great. We love working with startups. I mean, startups have it's really hard work, right? Like to open up your own business and to venture out. And I, as I've worked in more and more with different startup doctors, there's so much nuance to it that they never thought possible, right? That's why they need to hire consultants like you to help them walk through all those different steps. But when it comes to phones, you, do you have the overhead? Do you have enough money, honestly, to hire enough staff to answer your missed calls? And that you need every single call answered when you're a startup doc. You can't afford to miss any opportunity. So if you're thinking, okay, I don't want to have an AI receptionist, but you're using Mango. Inside of Mango, we have our dashboard. It's a simple login. You go to our website on the right-hand side where you log in. It's where you'd see all your call settings. There's a reports tab, and you can just click on missed calls, and you can see all your missed calls. Really easy to find, and that can tell you, oh shoot, we are missing 30%. We're missing 20%, and you can see what time of day those calls happened. If they happened after hours, you can see the phone number attached to those calls. So there's many ways to go in and analyze the health of your practice. So maybe you think, maybe we don't need AI. Maybe we don't need an AI receptionist because we have a good team, I have good systems, and you're okay. But after a couple of months of using Mango, you look at the reports, you say, oh shoot, we're still missing 20, 30% of our calls. Some of them are after hours, some of them are on lunch breaks, some of them are just too busy, and I don't have time to hire staff. You can get Margo, our AI receptionist. She is as pleasant at 7 a.m. as she is at 5 p.m. She doesn't ditch out for coffee. She doesn't like get sick or tired. And no,
And
we're
is
not trying to.
it supplemental, or is it like an after hour service, or it could be at the discretion of the doctor when they want to plug in our AI receptionists?
Yeah, I think that's always been the beauty of Mango is it's so customizable. And even with our AI agent, we've made it customizable. So if you just need her to pick up calls after hours, great. If you want it to pick up calls as an overflow throughout the day, if you're busy, perfect. You can even set it up as your first line. Like, hey, you want it to answer first, you can do that. We still, our recommendation is, hey, just have it be your overflow. If you can't pick up the call at any time of day, weekends, holidays, just plug her in. She'll pick it up, answer. And she's very human-like. She sounds, just like you and I do. And I'm impressed at how, from the first day of Margo, our AI receptionist, to where we are now, how little lag there is. Like that's the big thing. Like you wait for a response. Mango's very fast. We've spent a lot of time making sure that the responses are quick and that people feel like this is very person-to-person interaction almost. And it's answering questions. I mean, I would say, hey, if you need to, you should call Margo and you should try to stump her. Like I'll happily give the phone number for her. So if anybody is curious about how good she does, I can give you guys the
Okay.
phone number and you can call her and test her and see how she does. So,
Yes. Yeah. So this is
yeah.
something that it's how, like, and I'm sorry if I'm picking your brain. Maybe I'm scheduling my own demo real time. How does the training typically take place? Is it part of the conversations that the team is already having? Does that go into consideration for how she would answer the phone call? Is she trained by some of the data and the information that the office is already having conversations with patients around? Or does it require additional training specific to the questions that patients are asking at this location?
Yeah, that's a really good question. It's not like we just have some generic dental AI that we've created. When we onboard Margo into your practice, we have you fill out a questionnaire,
Okay.
and our onboarders meet with your team, and we we look at your website, we look at all your open hours, closed hours, we look at what you provide, but we ask really in-depth questions about your practice, and we try to figure out, how is Margo going to plug into your system and feel like an extension of your team, as opposed to just a robot that's lifeless and not fun. So we spend a lot of time with you, making sure she's a good fit and that she should be, right where she needs to be in your practice. So it's very customized, very hands-on when we onboard Margo into a practice.
Beautiful. So here's one thing that I always tell my startup clients, and I'm a partner with Mango, and I love Mango by all means. It's just I feel like it's an amazing phone system, and I personally use it for all of my clients in terms of training and listening to phone calls and whatnot. But I always tell my doctors, I want human interaction as much as possible because we are building the patient base. I'm very strong about when we have online booking, as soon as a call comes in or a booking comes through the line, let's make sure that we follow up with the patient, because as easy as it is, it's almost like breaking up via text type thing. If you have a lot of features that are just text messaging and things to that extent, of like automated communication, the relationship and the connection is not all there because they have not personally met you, and so they're not as morally committed to you. So as much as humanly possible, I always encourage my doctors, get someone from the office to introduce themselves as soon as an inquiry comes in, to just thank them for the outreach and to confirm and so on and so forth. Relying on a lot of these systems, and I do have like a very fast growing startup practice, and this is where the conversation came about, which is a beautiful thing to have. So for my doctors that are startups, doing it as on the days that the office is not open or after hours, so you're not missing on any phone calls, because let's be real, those initial months are like the substance and the foundation of building your business. And people that are searching from all of the efforts that you're putting out there, paid Google ads and so on and so forth, if you don't have the human capacity to be in the office all 5, 6, 7 days of the week, then this is an amazing alternative option for you to consider for your after hours, or just like to fill in where there are gaps with the team within the practice. But now let's talk about these grown like practices that are outdated or traditionally using landlines or other systems that are not as efficient as this one, as having a platform like Mango. And that's one of the biggest fears for like established practices. It's about switching systems because it creates a disruption. So I want to ask you, like, can a practice keep their same phone number when they're switching over to Mango? And how, and another question that doctors typically ask me comes from, am I able to secure a phone number even if I'm in the early stages of starting my practice and using the phone line? So I know it's a twofold question. One is for my startup doctors, and this is a question that I get asked all the time. When can I secure a phone number? And I tell them, just like your website domain name, you need to do it early because we need it for other purposes. You need it for like all of your assets and marketing materials for your website. So I always encourage them, get and reserve their phone number. And I know that you guys do some great, like ways of parking it. So how is that process for those doctors that have that question? And for those old school dentists that are considering doing the switch and are afraid of any, disruptions within the transition, talk to me about keeping the number and how does the transition take place for each scenario?
Yeah, no, these are great questions, and sometimes overlooked when you're thinking about change management for existing practices, or if you're a startup and you're thinking about building this out. Like, a lot of people overlook the phone number sometimes, and I the people that make these decisions are always going to be important. And I'll answer the questions, but I just want to say, like, AI is a useful tool for the practice, and it helps solve a lot of problems, but people will always need to be there for the very things we're talking about right now. People need to make the decisions to go and get the website domain. They need to make the decision to go and get the phone number. They need to hire consultants like you to make sure that they're, You can't just have AI go out and automate every aspect of it. You'll always need good people to run a successful business, and it's the most important thing about any business, I believe. And so when you're thinking about switching, first of all, we can secure your existing phone number. I would never want anyone to switch to Mango if you can't keep your main phone number. That is like it's part of the soul of your practice. You've had that phone number for years. Many people know it. You've advertised with it. You've marketed with it. And if you can't switch that number over to Mango, I would say don't even bother. But in 99% of cases, we can make sure you retain your main phone number. There are some real unique edge cases out there, but the world is catching up real fast. And as I say, in 99 times out of 100, we can take your phone number just fine and switch it over to Mango with no problem. And you'll never experience any downtime. Switching to Mango is one of the easiest things that you can do as far as change management goes in your practice. We do all the heavy lifting. We ship out the equipment. We have it pre-provisioned, so it's already ready to go. We schedule the onboarding with you. You pick your go live date with Mango, and we give a nice custom onboarding and training when we do it. So it feels very personal again, and we make sure all your call settings are set up exactly the way you want them to be. And then from there, if you're a startup doctor, the steps are really easy. You can get a phone number as early on as you want. Just as soon as you call and say, hey, I'm going to do a startup a year from now, 6 months from now, whatever it may be, and we'll get you your phone system activated and give you a phone number at no cost to you up front. So you can start taking phone calls and start marketing that number months before you open, so you can already begin scheduling and receiving calls. And so when your doors are actually ready to open and receive patients, you've already got that system plugged in, and we won't give you a bill for your phone until you're open. So and if we'll back our product. So if you aren't happy with us, we'll let you keep that number at no charge. Like, we won't charge you for it or anything like that. That number is yours free, and you can have it for whatever system you want. But we feel really confident about what we do. And at any point in the startup journey, you're ready to get that phone number. We can get it to you at no cost. And you need it for not just advertising, but you got to get it for insurance credentialing, as you know better than I do. So
yes. And another important thing, and it's kind of like a little bit of behind the scenes here with some of my clients and projects. Yes, we do reserve the number for the negotiations and the credentialing because you want to be listed on the directories and so on. But when we're starting the early stages of the marketing, first we have an opt-in or just an email exchange. But later on, I usually tell my doctors, let's activate those lines when we're starting to do some of that brand awareness and pre-launch marketing efforts, so that we can build our email lists and our leads for like potential patients or VIP lists. And a lot of times, like, I have a client right now who has about 50 patients on a waiting list. And so we first started with the outreach of exchanging the emails and the phone numbers because we don't have a live line yet. But as soon as we start, even the office is getting equipment installed and doing all of these things. We're going through the onboarding of the team as we speak. The first week before the office launch, the training is going to take place. We're going to activate the lines and start receiving phone calls early enough. And sometimes even I log in or assign someone from my team to be that person. If Margo is not available or yet set up, then we become the early Margos and like the human face of the practice, if you will. Yeah. But we are able to have like a lot of these things because they don't need to have the phones physically at the office because they use the app. And they share the login, as you said, with any support team. In this case, we as their consultant, we want to make sure that they have patients already pre-scheduled by the time they come in. So by the time the team is hired and onboarded throughout their orientation week, we already have a list of patients to go through the process of reaching out to fill that schedule. That way, that's how we as your partners and as their partners in this journey are able to almost guarantee that they're going to be predictably breaking even and covering costs and producing up to their break even within a very short timeline after launch. And sometimes, like Mango has been a great partner that's been able to help us achieve those goals with them. So thank you for that. So another question that typically comes in with me, and I want to be respectful of your time, you've been very generous so far, is integration. Because let's be real, integration is everything in modern, practices. So talk to us about like how Mango connects with different practice management systems and other tools to support the practices, launch and grow.
Yeah, no, like so I think something that Mango has done a really good job of over the last few years is making sure that your phones are tied to the practice management software, because the practice management software is the heart of the practice, right? It's where all your data lives, it's where all your notes are, it's where everyone operates out of. And if that's the heart, then the phones are the main vein, right? And we're feeding things. So why more people haven't connected the phones to the practice management software, I'm not sure, but we've worked really hard to make sure that that happens. So it's all about efficiencies, what we're trying to do here. So on the incoming calls, if you have an existing patient already in the system, we have built what's called a screen pop or a patient pop. So let's say it's me. I'm a patient at your practice. I call the practice. We're going to have a little screen pop or patient pop in the corner, pop up and say, Richard May is calling. He's got an appointment tomorrow. His last appointment was this. This is his balance, his insurance provider. He has family members. And it's going to give a little summary of me. So when I answer that call, I already know who I'm talking to. And I don't have to look up his name. I don't have to look up phone numbers. I've asked team members before, what do you guys do? Well, typically we look at the phone and we type in the phone number, and hopefully we find the right person. And I'm like, how inefficient is that? You're like, let me look up your account.
Yep.
Whereas we're going to pop that
20 years ago.
Yeah, and that hasn't changed. No one's that's been the same process for 30 years. So like why has no one tried to figure that out? So we pop the patient ID. You can click on it, while you're answering that call, and it'll redirect you right to my profile. So you know exactly who it is. This saves, it saves seconds, but if you think about 100 calls a day, and all those seconds add up to efficiencies, more time, less stress, less reaching over typing. It's going to just enhance that experience, and it makes it easier for me, the patient, on the other side. I don't have to wait. I feel like you have everything buttoned up and together on your side. It just creates an overall good experience on that. And the second thing is, as we talked about with this AI piece, is that on the end of the call, we're going to summarize that call. We're going to give you feedback and tell you, did you score well? Here's where you talked too much. Did you talk too fast? Was the patient upset? And we're going to log all that information in their, whether it's the office journal or the column log or their notes inside their practice management software. And what this does is this standardizes things for you and your team. So
and it
if you have
provides a lot of tools and resources for those performance evaluations, and to be able to work with the team on an additional training and building kind of like improvement performance evaluations to be able to determine promotions or increases. And it just continues to give you data about how you are performing as a team, and building that alignment with your brands and everything, so that these are just like very powerful tools.
Yeah. I mean, it gives you that feedback on your team. It gives you the feedback on the type of patients, how you're treating them. Doctors can look at who's on their schedule today and audit the last phone conversation they have and see a nice summary of like, oh, they're worried about this, or they're concerned about this, or they would prefer this type of treatment. And they already know that going in before they even, and it beats a note that's like, patient called and is coming in tomorrow. Like that's great if you want it, but we're going to give you a nice little summary of what that phone call was. And if you have 30 years of experience or 3 months of experience, we're going to standardize the notes across the board. So you'll never have inconsistencies in your note taking inside of your practice management software again. And this is just, the tip of the iceberg, because we're doing more things with Margo. We're doing more things with this AI. We're only looking to enhance, and we're looking for those practices specifically that want to grow and scale with us. When we love to hear feedback from our clients too on things that we should build. And that's, I think, where Mango really makes a difference, is we are a platform built for dentistry, and we're building it for dentistry always. Yeah.
Another thing, and we spoke about, and we're wrapping up. I think I just have one or two more questions left, and I want to make sure that I get those two before I let you go, because this is very insightful. Um, I remember the times where the internet will go down, and that's one of the hesitations I would say with some old timers and like myself. Like, what happens if the internet goes down? Which is the worst case scenario? Like, does the practice lose phone service completely? Like,
Now
how do you?
yeah, this is a great question, because it comes up because internet is sometimes not reliable. I think it's gotten better. I think internet's gotten more and more stable with time, but that's why we have our mobile app. It runs off of your cellular data, so you for as many phones as you have in the office, you're allowed to have that many mobile apps that you can download to specific cell phones in the practice. And so if your internet goes down, the calls will continue to come through your mobile app just fine. Um, you can the other thing is, like, the phones, they will actually Bluetooth to if you have a hotspot from your phone, you can do that. Don't recommend it, but it will work.
Okay.
Main thing we recommend to people do is just use the mobile app. It'll work off your cellular data. Now, if the cell towers and the internet are down, just take a break. That's what I tell people. Just go home. Just like nothing's working, so you might as well just take a beat and just take a little break, because the world is on pause anyway if cellular and internet are down. So, but that's the easy solve, and usually internet comes back up in short amounts of time, as we all know. It can be spotty sometimes, but the other thing I would recommend to practices is look at having some type of backup internet, because you're not just running your phones on your internet. You're running a lot. A lot of your practice is dependent on your internet, so I would definitely talk to your IT about having some type of backup as a recommendation as well.
Yes, yes, for sure. This has been so great. And I think my last question to you, Richard, is for a practice owner watching or listening right now who feels that their phones are just, they're fine. Like, what's the big deal? Like, what would you say that they're probably missing?
Yeah. Well, we see this all the time. People say, yeah, our phones are fine. They work. The phone rings. We answer it. It's okay. Do you have call recordings? Do you have data that says how many calls you've missed? Do you have the ability to tag those calls and say, hey, this was a new patient, or this was an existing patient? And most times they say no. Like, we didn't know. Is that even a thing? It's like, yes, we're in the future is now, like, and Mango is providing it. So I would take a good look at your systems. I always challenge doctors, go back to see how easy it is to call support for your phone provider, because Mango still has a less than 1 minute answer rate. I called our support the other day just to test. It was 17 seconds. It took them 17 seconds to answer.
Wow.
Yeah. So call your support, see how easy it is to get hold of your support. Can you see your missed call rates? Can you pull reports that you want to see? Is there AI? Do you get to see transcripts? Can you look up keywords?
Yep.
Can you, how easy can you access your voicemails? Like, what are your systems there? And what is your phone bill? I mean, I love asking doctors. I challenge them all the time. What is your phone bill? Like, I don't even know. And I hear that constantly. I'm like, you don't even know what you're paying. Maybe what kind of contract are you in? Someone like, hey, I'm in like a 5-year contract paying thousands of dollars. I didn't even know. And so it's okay. Well, that's where I challenge people. Look at support. Do you have AI? And do you have good reports? And what is your phone bill? I would totally take a look at those things. And then we're modernizing the phone system. So take a good look at our platform, because we'll probably save you money and create efficiencies and help you capture more revenue. That's what Mango's trying to do for dentistry.
I know you mentioned that we go back, and that is so very true. Ever since I started my consulting career, I've bumped into Richard in so many different places. We've come a long way, and I just have the utmost, admiration for you and for the team, because to your point, not only have you guys continuously improved and created more modern ways of just, helping dentists, but the customer service, I think the culture within Mango is just something that that you have to respect and have to admire. So, I mean, Richard, this has been so insightful because, again, the reality on the subject matter is that communication is not just an operational tool. It is an efficiency and growth strategy. And if our phone systems, your phone systems are not optimized, you're not just dealing with the inconvenience of not getting phone calls, you are potentially missing on new patients, losing production, and creating friction with your patient experience, which is ultimately the reason why we start our businesses, because we want to support our patients, right? And so for those of you watching, if you haven't evaluating your phone systems recently, or you're still using outdated technology, not optimizing some of the tools that Mango offers, right, with everything that we just discussed, this is your sign to take a closer look. So with that, Richard, what is the best way to connect with you and scheduled a demo to have an like an analysis, or to consider whether they want to transition?
Yep. We try to, like Mango, our slogan is, phones made simple. And so we try to keep even that process simple. Visit mangovoice.com. You'll see right on the homepage, schedule here, get a demo here, click on that and schedule at your convenience. Or you can call our sales line at any time. It's 435-GO-MANGO. And we try to make that easy too. 435-GO-MANGO. Give us a call or visit the website.
Mango. There you go.
435-GO-MANGO. Can't miss it. And everyone's busy, so do it at your convenience, and we try to make that easy. And Maritza, I'm so grateful for you and so respectful of you, and thank you for your time too, because I know how busy you are, trying to manage doctors and keep them on a growth trajectory. So thank you for allowing us to do this today.
Of course. And I'm going to make sure that the information is on the description, all the links to connect with Richard. Thank you so much. Looking forward to seeing you and your growing business and growing family. It's always a pleasure, Richard. I appreciate you so much. God bless. And we will stay in touch, everyone. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Let me start recording now. And